Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I'm going to work out all the problems on your benchmark review. Please check all your answers, and then if there's some that you're still having trouble with or something, just send me an email and I'll do my best to kind of help you get through that before Monday. So remember, your test is this Monday, March 8th. So please make sure you're studying. Here we go. So number 1 says, which expression is equivalent to 210d squared minus 63d? So there's a couple options to go about this. Because we have these answer choices, you can work backwards, and instead of doing factoring by finding the greatest common factor, you could actually distribute what's on the outside to everything on the inside and then see what you get. Like 21 times 10 is 210. Then I've got a d times a d is d squared minus 21 times 3 is 63, and I have that d on the outside as well, which that looks exactly like that, right? So that's option 1. Option 2 is to see what you can take out of. What's the biggest number I can take out of 210 and 63, which is going to be the 21. So I can take 21 out, and then you look at your variables, and you want to take out the smallest one, because I can't take out 2d's because this guy only has 1d. So the biggest thing I can take out is 21d. So that's our GCF. Then I put all of my leftover pieces in here. So like I need a 10 and a d minus 3. And also just quick elimination method would be, this has to be a minus. There's no minus on the outside of any of these, so I know that it has to be minus on the inside. So these plus, automatically I can get rid of. So I'm down to these two. And the difference between A and D is this one has the 21D, and this one just has 21. And we know we need to take out the 21D. So the correct answer for this one is A. I know it's probably the longest way to go around that, but I just wanted to make sure you knew there was multiple different ways to do this problem. What is the product? Product means to multiply of 8x minus 3 and x squared minus 4x plus 8. So I've got a binomial times a trinomial. You can either do the double distributing method, kind of like FOIL, or you can do the box method. I like the box method when you kind of get the bigger polynomials. Kind of keeps everything more organized for me, but again, it's up to you. So I'm going to do a 2 by 3 box. I'm going to have 8x minus 3 down here and x squared minus 4x plus 8. You could have also done 3 down vertically and then 2 horizontally. It would work out the same. So first I'm going to multiply x squared times 8x to get this box. And when I do that, I multiply my numbers. Well, 8 times 1 is just 8. And then I have x times x squared gives me 3 because there's an imaginary 1 there. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then I multiply 8x times negative 4x to get this box. And 8 times 4 is going to give me 32, and it's going to be negative 32 because there's a negative there. And again, this has an imaginary 1, so 1 plus 1 gives me 2. 3 times 8x, multiply the numbers, and I'm going to get 24, and then just 1x. X squared times negative 3 is going to be negative 3x squared. Negative 4x times negative 3. Negative times a negative is going to give me that positive 12, and then I just have that 1x hanging out. Lastly, 3 times negative 3. Positive times a negative is a negative. 9. Okay, so then when I go to simplify, remember your top left box and your top right box are always going to stay the same. So there is not going to be anything to combine. There will be no like terms. So those will always just come down. Now, you will have like terms diagonally. So like there's the x squareds and there's the x's. So if they have the same last name, like, and by last name I don't just mean they have x, they have to have the same variable and same power. So if the last name's x squared, I can only combine it with other things that have x squared. And again, they're going to line up on your diagonals like you see. So I've got -3 and -32. Same signs we add. So I'm going to have -35, and I keep the last name of x squared. Then I've got 12 plus 24 gives me 36 x's. So that would be what it looked like. And remember, we always write in our variables in decreasing order. So like 3, 2, 1, and then no exponents or no variables. So that's just kind of a unspoken math thing. So if you don't write them in order, just know your answer choices will be in that order. So I know it starts with 8x to the third. These do not have 8x to the third. And then it's -35x squared plus 76 minus 24. Where did I mess up? Oh my goodness. Y'all. This was +8 and I put +3. Sorry. We'll fix that real quick. This was supposed to be an 8. That's what happened. Okay, so I need to erase this box and this box. And now I have 64 x's and -24. There we go. That will make it prettier. So now I have 12x plus 64, which is plus 76 x's. That makes it better. I'm so sorry. So I had to change that. That was +8. Durr. And that gives you answer choice C. There's the right answer. So there you go. Make sure you write down the problem correctly. That'll slow you down. And number 3, which expression is equivalent to this trinomial? So again, we have answer choices. You could FOIL or box method all of these and see which one equals this. You could plug into Desmos. You could plug into Desmos like y equals this whole thing and then y equals these and see which one the line matches up, or sorry, a line, it's going to be a parabola. See which parabola matches up with this one. Or I think factoring's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to factor using my x. So again, this is my a term, my b term, and my c term. A times c goes up here, so that's going to be 6 times 6, which is 36. And then my b term goes down here. I have to take all of it, -13. Do not include your variables, so don't include the x squareds or x's or anything yet. Then I have to see what multiplies to 36, but also adds to -13. So like you might have to come over here and write out, okay, 1 times 36. 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 and 9, 5 no, and then 6 times 6, and I know I'm done. So it's got to be one of those sets, so one of these 5 sets. And again, you can change the signs around, whatever you need to do. I'm looking at it, and I see 4 and 9, and if I make those both negative times a negative gives me that +36, and then -4 plus a negative 9, I add them, and that's going to give me the negative 13. And then I always divide by my a. So this is step 2, divide by my a, and then whatever my variable is, so x. Then you're going to simplify your fractions. Simplify. I'm going to divide this top and bottom by 2. And again, Desmos will do this for you. So negative 2 over 3x. And this guy I'm going to divide by 3. That's the greatest common factor between those. And I've got negative 3 over 2x. And then here's our fancy magic trick. We turn our fractions into factors. So we're going to have a binomial times another binomial. Remember, your bottom is going to go first. So 3x. It's a negative fraction, so it's going to be minus. And then you're going to put your top, which is 2. Same thing over here. We're going to do our magic trick. We're going to turn our fractions into factors. Bottom goes first. Again, it's a minus, so it's going to be, or a negative, so it's going to be minus. And then lastly, the top is 3, so I'll put that there. And there we have it. It is factored. So I need 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 3, which is answer choice B. And again, you could have had it switched, like it could be 2x minus 3 and 3x minus 2. If that was your answer, this would still be the answer. It's just like saying 4 times 9 and 9 times 4. You're still going to get the same thing. So if you have it switched, no worries. The order does not matter. The order inside the parentheses matters, but the order you have your parentheses does not matter. Okay. Which of the trinomials below cannot, that's an important word, cannot be factored? So which one can I not create an X puzzle for? So I'm going to just start with the first one and work my way through and see which one I can't create. So this one I'm going to do in orange so you can kind of keep up with it. So again, A times C. So this is 4x minus 12x plus 9. So A times C is 4 times 9, which gives me 36. And then my negative 12 comes down here, so I'm looking for two things that multiply to 36 and also add a negative 12. And obviously, negative 6 works. So I can create an X puzzle. Like, I can stop there. You don't have to solve the whole thing. Because I can create it, I can solve it. If you can find these two numbers, it's good. So this guy works. So let's try another one. Number 2 is 6x squared minus 43x plus 7. See if we can create an X puzzle for him. 6 times 7 is 42. And then I bring that negative 43 down. The one that sticks out to me would be negative 42 and negative 1. So negative times negative gives me that positive 42, and then negative plus a negative is going to give me the negative 43. So this one does work. I can create the X puzzle. You can stop there. If you can create it, you're good. So that one can be factored. So next one. I have room to write it over here. Let's see. 10x squared plus x minus 6. So I've got negative 60 and 1. Yikes. Okay. I think I'm going to have to write some of the factors out for 60 over here. So I've got 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, not 7, not 8, not 9, we're back to 10. So those are my only factors. I can't do 1 and 60. 2 and 30, there's no way to do that one. No way to do that one. 4 and 15, nope. 5 and 12, no. No. So it looks like this one, I cannot factor. So I think that might be the only one. We're going to say no to that guy. But let's just check this one. Because we got to select all. Oh, color's kind of close. Okay. So 9x squared plus 71x plus 56. So I've got 9 times 56 is going to give me 504. Then bring the 71 down. I got to think of things that are going to multiply to 504 and add to 71. To be honest, y'all, I had to plug this into Desmos beforehand to try to figure it out. And I ended up with 63 and 8. 63 times 8 is going to give me 504, and then 63 plus 8 is going to give me the 71. So this checks out. So there's only one that does not work, which is the pink one, which is 3. So answer choice D, 3 only, is the one that does not work. Okay. Which expression is equivalent to all of this stuff? So this is our power rule and our product rule. Remember, you do get a formula chart. And that second section, properties of exponents, gives you all the rules. So if you forget or have a brain fart or whatever, here it is. It gives you that. Okay, so first we're going to have to do the power rule. So when I have an exponent, I've got to multiply by all the other exponents inside. And yes, even the whole numbers have exponents. They're going to have an exponent of 1. So I've got 1 times 2 is really 7 squared, which I can go ahead and say 7 squared equals 49, right? And then I've got x, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So that's that simplified. Then over here, same thing, I've got 1/2 times everything, which is just 8. So x to the 8 to the 1, 8 times 1/2, which is 4. Can't talk. Then product rule, we always multiply numbers and add exponents. Multiply numbers, add exponents. Well, I only have one number, 49. And then I keep my base of x, keep that, and I'm going to add 6 plus 4, which is going to give me 10. So 49, x to the 10th, which is answer choice B. Okay, number next, we've got division. The rule for dividing polynomials is divide numbers and subtract exponents. Again, if you forget, it's on that part of the chart. So first I'm going to divide 45 and 15. So 45 divided by 15 gives me 3. Just by knowing that, I can mark off C and D, right? So that's all I knew how to do. We got a 50-50 shot, but we know how to do more. Then you got to take the ones with the same bases. So m-6, m-2. Here I'm going to subtract. So I've got -6 minus a -2. And when I do that, this turns into a plus. So it's -6 plus 2, which is really m to the -4. And remember, when I have a negative, I got to make it happy by moving it down to the bottom. And it makes it positive. It makes it happy when I move it down to the bottom. I'm moving on to my p squared and p to the 8th. Again, I am subtracting. 2 minus 8 gives me -6. So it's p to the -6. Again, if I can put it here, but that's not proper, I got to move it down to the bottom, and that changes to a positive. So p to the 6th power. And then lastly, I've got v12 and v -4. So it's 12 minus a -4, oops, which really is plus 12 plus 4, which gives me v to the positive 16. So he can stay up there. He's already positive. So this would be our final answer, which is answer choice B. Okay, this one, plug into Desmos, and you're going to plug in exactly what you see. So in your first line, you're going to plug in this, and second line, you're going to plug in this. So I'm going to write L1 for line 1 and L2 for line 2. You plug exactly what you see. So I'm going to go to Desmos real quick. Not the trash can. Desmos. And in Desmos, line 1, I'm typing in literally everything. F parentheses X parentheses equals 1 divided by 2, arrow over parentheses 6 minus X, and that's all to the power of 2. In line 2, I'm plugging in F of -2, F parentheses -2, and I get 32. That's my answer. You could also, if you didn't want to do that, you could just plug in this into line 1. Once you get that in, you can go to the settings, and you can turn this equation into a table. You can then type in any number you want. So like it already has -2 in here, so I plug in -2, out pops 32, which is what we got. And again, you can go through and change and say I wanted to know F of 8. You can plug it in and get whatever you wanted. So that's also an option. Again, that's you plug in your equation, settings, table, plug in whatever you want and see what you get. Okay. Or L1, L2. What is the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points? This is where we plug into Desmos. Y1 squiggly, mx1 plus b. Have this memorized. This is so important. You will not get it on your test. You need to have it memorized. That's what you plug into Desmos. So in Desmos, I'm going to put a table in. So plus table. Here's my first x. Here's my first y. So 26 and 7. Underneath that, I'm going to put in -39 and 12. Underneath, I'm going to put y1, squiggly, mx1 plus b. And then I'm going to come down here. Here's my m, but notice my numbers are in fractions. So I can go down underneath here, press m, press our fancy fraction button, and it turns it into a fraction. So -1/13, which is answer choice A. The table shows a linear relationship between the average height in feet of trees on a tree farm and the number of years since the trees were planted. So this is my x, whoa, and my y. What is the rate of change? Fancy way of saying slope. That's all it's asking for. So if it's asking for slope, again, 2 pretty points is all I need. I always pick the first 2 because, I don't know, they're right there. and then you plug your y1 squiggly mx1 plus b into Desmos. So I'm going to go here. If you already have this in, you can just change the numbers on the table. That's the lazy way to do it, right? And then if I plug in 1, it's 10. Be careful. Remember, this table is sideways. My table is vertical. It's up and down. So make sure you don't say like, oh, 1, 3, 1, 3, and then 10, 24. This is your first x. This is your first y. So first x is 1. First y is 10. Second x is 3. Second y is 24. And again, I already have this y1 squiggly plugged in, so my slope is 7. Okay, that was a perfect box. That's pretty cool. Alrighty. The graph models the linear relationship between the temperature of Earth's atmosphere and the altitude, above sea level, which represents the rate of change. Oh my goodness. Again, fancy way of saying, what is the slope? So I would find 2 pretty points. You always need 2 pretty points for slope. So here's one. This one looks like it's kind of pretty. It's a little off, but it'll work if we just remember that our answer is going to be a little off. So you could either find where these points are and plug it in Desmos to the y1 squiggly, or we can count rise over run. Pay attention to your axes, though. I'm going from -50 to -30. So it looks like I only went up 2. No, I went from -50 to -30. I really went up 20. Your x-axis is only by 1. So I went from 9 to 7. So that was to the left. So it's -3. Okay. And again, to find my m, it's rise over run. My rise was up 20. My run was over -3. I'm going to plug that into Desmos to simplify it for me. I've got 20 divided by -3, which gives me the -6, and then 6 repeating. So approximately -6.67-ish. And let's look at our answer choices and see if anything looks like that, which -6.5 is pretty close. And again, I told you we were a little off on our pretty point right here, so it makes sense that it was just a tad bit off. Number 11, a paper airplane was thrown from the top of a tall building. The height of the paper airplane above ground can be used using the function y equals -1.2x plus 72, where x is time in seconds the airplane has been in the air. How many seconds did it take the airplane to reach the ground? So I want to know, again, x is the time, y is the height. I want to know when it's on the ground. If it's at ground level, how high am I in the air? 0 feet, right? I'm on the ground. So I want to know when y is 0. So instead of y, I'm going to put this as 0, and then I'm going to solve for x. So -72 -1.2 divide. Oh, we got like 32 something. Let's see. I don't want to tell you that wrong. -72 divided by -1.2 is 60. Definitely not 32. Okay, 60. So it will take 60 seconds for the airplane to get at 0 feet, to get at ground level. The other option for solving this would be to take this equation and plug it into Desmos. Anytime you're given an equation, I would plug it into Desmos to look at the graph and see what's happening with the graph, because y'all are pretty smart and y'all would be able to figure out things just by looking at what the picture's doing. Like, y'all are very intelligent and able to do that. So I would always plug it in and just see what's happening. So obviously I can't see, so let's zoom out. Here it is. And if you look, so if we pretend this is the top of the tall building up here and it's thrown down, here's my ground. So my solution, my x-intercept, is 60. So that's the other way to know it was 60. It's just by graphing it. Okay. They love these questions. What is the y-intercept of the graph? A lot of times they'll even give you like pretty points on the graph and be like, oh, this is here and this is here. And all they're asking for is the y-intercept. So be careful on what they're asking you for. So I'm looking at where my graph crosses this y-axis, which is at 0, 4. If it were griddable, you would just grid in 4. So griddable, just grid in 4. Okay, what is the x and y intercept? Well, y is down here at -4. So 0, -4. Again, or you could just grid in -4. The x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Is at -3. So this time I am going over -3 and I'm not going up any. Or you could just grid in -3. So those are pretty straightforward. They love these. So they give you an equation. Equation has an equal sign, and they even graph it for you. That's how nice they are. But then they're asking about an inequality. It's the same equation. The only difference is the equal sign and the inequality sign. And it wants to know which one of these ordered pairs is the solution. So you got to figure out which way to shade. Don't just look at this if it's not solved for y and say, oh, it's greater than, I shade above. No, you need to solve it and get y because your sign might flip if you divide or multiply by a negative. So 0.5 x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 3. I'm going to get rid of this 0.5x, 0.5x. Negative 2y is greater than or equal to negative 0.5x plus 3. Oh, look, I'm dividing everything by this -2. If I divide by a negative, my sign flips. So this is what I was saying. Divide by that negative, my sign flips. And honestly, I don't even care what the rest of this is because the line's already graphed. All I cared about was where to shade. So now I know I need to shade below because it's less than or equal to. Now, since it's less than or equal to, my solution either has to be on this line or below the line. So let's graph some of these and see where they're at. -2, 0.5 is A. That's negative. That's definitely not it. It's not in the red shaded area. 2, 1 over 2 up 1. It's not it. Up, y'all, the struggle is real. 2, 1. That's not it. 2, -1. 2, and then down -1. Oh, that's on the line. That could be it. -2, -0.5. Definitely not it. So my answer is 2, -1 because it is on the line. Which graph represents the solution set for this inequality? Honestly, I would just look at the sign first and see if I can eliminate anything based on that. So knowing there's an equal sign, I know my line has to be solid. So this is a dashed line, so it's out. This is a dashed line, it's out. Dashed, okay. Then these two are shaded differently. I need to be shaded above. C is shaded below the line. So C's out. So B is the only one left. So without doing any work, just looking at the sign, I know. That's what I do first to see if you can eliminate anything. Which situation represents causation? Remember, causation is a cause and effect relationship. And effect. So if something happens, then automatically this has to happen, okay? So there's correlation. I can graph anything and see if there's a correlation between two things, but it doesn't mean that if this happens, then this automatically has to happen. So causation is that cause and effect. When the number of bus stops increases, the number of car sales decreases. Again, there might be a correlation, but there's not a direct cause and effect relationship. When fewer firefighters report a house fire, the damage caused by the fire decreases. Does them reporting have anything to do with the damages? No, that's not cause and effect. When ice cream sales increase, incidents of sunburn increase. Again, those aren't directly a cause and effect. When it rains, the water level in the lake increases. Yes, if it rains, then the lake will automatically go up. It's a direct cause and effect. So the answer choice there would be D. A company advertises on a website. A worker tracked the number of visits to a website, the number of clicks on the advertisement. The table shows the data for several days. A linear function be used to model that data. Based on the table, what is the best prediction of the number of clicks on an advertisement if 1,500 people visit the website? So notice this is just a scatter plot. Like, I'm just seeing what happened. What's the correlation between it? So if I plug this into Desmos, I have to plug every single one of these points in because they're not directly on a line. It's a bunch of different data I'm getting from different places. So I've got to make sure that I get all of it in there. So it's not hard, it's just time consuming to put all of it in. So X is 153, 14, 629, 38, 471, 30, whoops, 914, 53, 307, 21, 1045, 60, 510, 32, and 1106, 63. Okay, so there's all the points they gave us. Again, it's a scatter plot, so if I look and see, notice these don't all line up in a straight linear line. They're kind of a little off. So when I do my y equal y1 squiggly, it's going to find the line of best fit, or my trend line, and put a line that goes where most of the points are. And you have half the points above, half the points below. So y1 squiggly mx1 plus b. Again, it's trying to track the trend line there. And here's my m. It's kind of an ugly decimal, so I'm going to write this over here. So m is about 0.0519-ish, and b is about 5.5393-ish. Yes. So I need to write an equation for this and figure out, when 1,500 people, what do you think would happen? So if I were to write an equation, y equals mx plus b, here's my m, here's my b. So it's going to be y equals 0.0519x plus 5.5393. I'm going to plug this into Desmos. Y equals 0.0519x plus 5.5393-ish. So it gives you this line, You have the option of seeing, okay, when 1,500 people visit, so that would be over here. There we go. It would be about 83. So when, 1,500 people, about 83.389. So about 83 people. Or again, you could take this, turn it into a table. So settings, table, and I can plug in whatever I want, and I want 1,500. And when I do that, it tells me exactly it's 83.3, blah, blah. So our answer is answer choice C. Okay, so number 17, what is the domain? So remember Dr. X, Y. Hang on. Struggling here. Oh my goodness, it deleted everything. That's beautiful. Here we are. So remember Dr. X, Y. Domain is X. Range is Y. So I'm looking for, just kidding. It's domain and range. So domain and range. Domain is X, range is Y. So if I were to graph this, f of x equals -2. One, you can do it on Desmos. Or, since there's no slope, I know it's a 0 slope going through the x-axis at -2. Okay. So knowing this, using Dollar the robot, which stands for domain is left to right, range is bottom to top. So if I try to do left and right, can I cut it off at any point and say, okay, it stops here, or it stops here on the right? No, because those arrows tell me it goes on forever in both directions. So my domain should be all real numbers. So this domain does not say that. This domain does not say that. These two do. Okay. Range is bottom to top. Well, the range is always going to be -2. Like I'm always on this line. I'm over -1, -2. Over -3, but I'm still going down that -2. Like on this line, I'm always going to be at -2. It's not going to be any other number. So it's not going to be all real numbers greater than or equal to -2. It's only -2. So answer choice D is the correct answer. The daily cost of hiring a plumber Y to work X hours on a repair project can be modeled using a linear function. The plumber charges a fixed cost of $75 plus an additional cost of $50 per hour. The plumber works a maximum of 7 hours per day for 1 day of work. What is the range? So again, Dr. XY, we're looking for Y. So any of these answers that have anything to do with X, go ahead and get rid of them because we want range, we want Y. So if you had no idea what was happening and all you knew was range was Y, we got a 50-50 shot. I'm going to write the equation for this. So in order to find what he causes or charges, it's going to be 50 times however many hours plus the fixed cost of 75. So that's the equation. So if I work 0 hours, if I plug in 0 everywhere I see this X, I mean 0 would be the least number of hours, right? If I plug in 0, this will go away, but I'm left with 75. So the lowest I can have is 75, right? Which is that, and this one's already out. The highest I can work is that 7. If I plug in a 7, instead I'm going to get that 425. So B would be the correct answer for that one. Researchers in Antarctica discovered a warm sea current under a glacier that is causing the glacier to melt. The ice shelf of the glacier had a thickness of approximately 450 meters when it was first discovered. The thickness of the shelf is decreasing. We're subtracting the thickness at a rate of 0.6 meters per day. So any of them that aren't subtracting are out, right? So I'm starting at 450 and I'm subtracting that 0.6x. So the only one that works is A. Adding. Right, that's a no-go. And this one, if I were to distribute it, would make this one negative. So that's why that one's out. Ooh, this one's fun. What is the equation of a line that is perpendicular? Remember, perpendicular means we are flipping and switching the slope. So perpendicular to this line and goes through the point negative 3, 5. So instead of the 3/4 slope, we're going to flip it to be 4/3, and it's positive. We're going to switch it to be negative. So that's our slope. We are going to use the formula y minus y1 m x minus x1. Where is it? So that is called point slope form. I'm given a point and I'm given a slope. It's right here again. It's on your formula chart. Point slope. There's my point. There's my slope. So again, that was y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Here is my x1. Whoops. And then here is my y1. And then this is my m. Okay. So I'm going to plug in what I do know. y1 is up here. So when I rewrite this, I've got y minus 5 equals my m, which is right there. That's really hard to see, but it is negative 4/3. And then x minus my x1, oops, which is negative 3. But instead of saying minus a negative, let's just go ahead and change that to the positive 3. Now I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to distribute this out. Y minus 5 equals negative 4/3 x. And then it's going to end up being minus 4. Add 5 to both sides. And I'm left with y equals negative 4/3 x plus 1. So I need negative 4/3, so these are all out because those are positive, right? And I need it to be plus 1. Oops, sorry. On the tiny screen. If it said parallel, it would be the same slope. So instead of flipping and switching, you would just plug in this exact slope. Perpendicular, flip and switch. Parallel, you don't flip and switch. And you're always going to use this formula, point slope, because it gives you the point and the slope. The graph of the linear function is on the grid. Which equation is represented by this graph? So I find the equation of this graph. So like the b is negative 3, and then I'd find another pretty point and figure out the slope. So 1, 2, 3. I'm rising 3 and running 4, and it's to the right, so it's positive 4. So the equation is going to be rise over run, so 3 over 4x, and the y-intercept was negative 3. So I needed an equation to match that line. Okay. Are these pretty? Is that pretty? Maybe that one's not pretty. Hang on, y'all. Sorry, I made this graph a little bit hard to read. I'm going to say this one's pretty because I can tell that this one's pretty. This one looks a little off there. I don't know. I'm just going to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 5, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's better. So this should be 5 over 7. So automatically I know I need 5 over 7. This is 7 over 5, so these are out. The other two you can solve for y, and solve it all out and stuff, and see which one equals that. Or in order to plug into Desmos, I just have to have y by itself. So if I just take this and move it at the end, same thing here, move it at the end. Now I have y by itself, y equals all of that stuff, and I can compare the graphs. So when I plug this in, the first one is y equals 5 divided by 7, open parentheses, x plus 7, and then I'm adding that plus 2 at the end. Okay, and the other one is y equals 5 divided by 7, open parentheses, x minus 7, and again, I'm going to subtract 2 this time. And then I'm also going to just put in the line that I had, so this original line, and see which one matches, if my green or my purple matches that one. So y equals 5 divided by 7, x minus 3. So notice when I zoom, what did I do? What did I do? X plus 7, yes. X minus 7, yes. What did I do, y'all? Okay, if I were to solve this one, why? Oh, y'all know what oh my goodness. So if I move this over, look, y'all, I am struggling. If I move this over, I'm not adding. I have to subtract to get rid of it. Same thing here. If I have to add to get rid of it. So this one's adding. Oops, why did I add another 2? So I need to switch the signs. Sorry. So this is minus. This is plus. There we go. Okay, now let's see. So notice I am looking for the black line, like which one covers up the black line. Well, I see green, I don't see the purple. So the black and the purple are the same, because notice if I take away this, there's the purple. Now, purple's gone. There's the same line. So the purple and the black one are. So the plus 2. So answer choice D. Oops. Answer choice D. There you go. There's what not to do, y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're just writing the systems of equation. Remember, system means more than one. A customer paid $64 for 3 large candles. I'm just going to call large candles X's. And we're adding 4 small. We'll call the smalls Y. At the same store, a second customer, I'm going to put them in a different color, paid $4 more than the first customer. And they bought 1 large, so 1x, plus 8 small, so 8y. So first customer was, I had 3x plus 4y, and all that's going to equal 64. The other guy paid $4 more than me, so 64 plus 4 is 68, right? And they bought 1x, or I'm just going to say x, I don't like the way that looks, plus 8y. The only one that lines up would be answer choice C. So just writing it out. The tables show ordered pairs that represents the values that correspond to the system of linear equations. What is the system of equations that is represented by the tables and the ordered pairs? So again, you're just writing equations. I would plug these into Desmos, is what I would do. So the first one, plus table -2 and -9 and -1 and -6 come down here. Y1 squiggly, mx1 plus b, and my m is 3, b is -3. And then while we're over here, let's go ahead and do this guy. Okay, and I'm just going to change these -2, and I get out 6, 0, and I get out 2. I'm left with m is -2, b is 2. So then when I write this equation, the first one is going to be y equals 3x minus 3, and the second one is going to be y equals -2x plus 2, and I'm just writing it in that y equals mx plus b, the slope-intercept form. Okay, what is the solution to this? I'm going to plug in the left to L1, plug in the right to L2. I guess I don't need the question mark, but there he is. So into the line 1, I'm going to do -6. And remember, anytime you have variable, you're just going to change it to x plus 8, close parentheses. Line 2, I'm putting 4, open parentheses, 17, minus, again, change it to x. And then I'm looking to see where the red and the black line intersect. Oops. So it looks like up here, they intersect at -38 to 20, and I'm looking for x, which is -38. Okay. Another one, again, plug in this to L1, this to L2, and see where they meet. So let's open Desmos. These already have x's, so I can keep the variable the same. X plus 20, and then 2 plus 0.5, x minus 2. I'm looking for where the blue and the green line meet, which is way down here. And I'm looking for the x, so -12.8. Which is obviously, I did something wrong. What did I put in wrong this time, y'all? I'm struggling this morning. Oops, sorry. I can't even click the right button. Let's see. Oh, it's not negative. Aye. Here it is, -56. Whew. Hopefully y'all did better than me. Okay. This guy, it's inequality, so I've got to solve it. This x less than -2x plus 6. I'm going to get x's on one side, everything else on the other. I got to distribute and combine like terms, so 15 minus 3x and -2x plus 6. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. 15 minus x and 6. Then I'm going to subtract 15. I've got negative x, and I still have less than negative 9. Divide by negative. Hey, this is a divider multiplied by a negative. I have to switch the sign. So now it's x, and negative divided by negative is a positive. X is greater than 9. Did I miss a begin, y'all? What did I do? 15. Wow. We're just gonna erase all that for now. Whew. Do y'all see what I did? I gotta slow down. Okay, 15 minus 5x, not 3x, plus 2x. Okay. Then minus the 15, negative 3x less than negative 9. Then I divide by the negative 3. I divided by a negative, so the sign is going to switch. So I'm left with x is greater than positive 3. That's better. Don't pull a Miss Miller on your test. Slow down. Take your time. Don't make these silly mistakes I keep making. What is the solution? Easiest way, I mean, there's substitution elimination. I would think graphing, because this guy is already solved for y. So if I solve this guy for y, I can plug it in Desmos and see where they cross. So 3x minus 5y equals 22. So I'm going to subtract 3x, Negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 22. Divide everything by negative 5. Y equals positive 3/5 x, and I'm just going to leave this 22 over 5, negative 22 over 5. So I'm going to plug those two things into Desmos, and I'm going to see where they meet. So the first one was y equals negative 5x plus 32. And then I solved the other one for y, and I got 3 divided by 5x minus 22 divided by 5. See where they cross. 7.3 repeating. Oh my gosh. What did I do now? Y'all. Oh my goodness. Negative 5x plus 32. Okay. Then this guy, 3/5 x minus 22 over 5. Right? Minus 3x minus 3x. Divide everything by negative 5. 3/5. That should be... Huh. What did I do, y'all? Minus 22. I don't see what I did wrong. And it's asking for the value. Oh. Oh. Did I click on something else? What was I clicking on? I clicked on that. Y'all. Oh my goodness. So it's where they cross. So you might have to zoom in to make sure you click on the exact thing, but it's x, because I want to know x, so don't put negative 0.5, put 6.5, which is C. Whew. How are we doing? Are we almost there? We are almost there, y'all. Okay. Bus travels 2 different routes, the green route and the blue route. The routes are different lengths. So the first one on Monday, the bus traveled the green route 6 times. We'll call the green route 6x. And we did the blue route, we'll call y 5 times, total of 52 miles. So it's 6 times the green route plus 5 times the blue route equals 52. On the other one, we did green route 12, blue route 13, total of 119. So 12x plus 13 times the blue equals 119. And then what is the length of the green route in miles? I would solve these both for y and plug them in. Or you could do substitution elimination, but I'm thinking most of us are going to solve for y and put it in Desmos. Plus 5y equals 52. I'm going to subtract 6x. There goes 6x plus 52. And divide everything by 5. And since we're plugging in Desmos, we don't have to really simplify anything. It's 52 over 5, so that's the first one. The second one was 12x plus 13y equals 119. Subtract 12x from both sides. 13y equals negative 12x plus 119 minus 13y. No, not minus. Divide by 13, divide by 13, divide by 13, and I'm left with y equals negative 12 over 13x plus 119 over 13. Okay, so those are my 2 equations. You could have also done, I think, elimination wouldn't be too bad. Like multiply this by 2. That would also work. But I just have a feeling most of us like to plug it into Desmos because it's familiar and we do it all the time. Okay. So the purple one was y equals negative 12 divided by 13x plus 119 divided by 13. And then the other one was y equals negative 6 divided by 5x plus 52 divided by 5. Okay, try to see where they cross. They meet at 4.5, 5. So if I go back here, it's asking for the green route, which I did the green route was x, so I need to find my x value, which is 4.5, which is answer choice B. 29, what is the range of the function? So again, anytime you have an equation, I would graph it to see what's happening in Desmos, to see what it looks like. Y equals 4x squared, we have parabola, minus 24x plus 11. And it's asking about the range, so remember, Dr. XY, we're talking about the y, and that's to going from robot, bottom to top. So if I look at this graph here, if I zoom out, here's my vertex. It's a minimum. It's the lowest point. So nothing goes below this negative 25. It's the lowest. And remember with parabolas, it's going to keep on going forever and ever and ever. Like I can keep zooming out, and it's going to go on forever and ever. So y has to be, since it's a max or minimum, y has to be greater than or equal to that negative 25, which is answer choice D. What is the domain? Okay, if you remember, for quadratics, if it has a squared is what makes it a parabola. It's also going to be negative, I guess, because it has that negative. But It's going to be all real numbers, and that's always. Remember, that's our easy one we always do. What is the domain? Always all real numbers, every single time. Which function is equivalent? Option 1 would be to either solve it. So like I'm going to do box method and solve it. Or you can plug in this one and then plug in these answer choices and see which one matches up. I'm going to do box method. So first off, I'm going to do this. Which I've got x plus 2. So I'm going to have x squared, 2x, and 4. So I'm going to combine like terms. I've got x squared plus 4x plus 4 when I do that. So now, instead of what I have in the blue box, I got to keep all this outside stuff. I have x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then plus the 7 is still there. I've got to distribute this 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So I'm left with y equals 3x squared plus 12x plus 12. And then I also have the plus 7. So when I combine like terms, I've got y equals 3x squared plus 12x plus 19. Which is answer choice B. Okay, the graph of the quadratic function is shown on the grid. Which function is best represented by this graph? Remember, it's facing down, so that means that my first term, the x squared term, has to be negative. So that automatically gets rid of a and c. A and c, because these are positive. Those parabolas would be facing upward, and I want mine to be facing down. Also, remember the last term here. These are both 4, but that's your y-intercept. So it is 4. Next, you could either solve, or since we're down to 2, I would probably just graph these and see which one looks like the picture. So I've got y equals negative x squared minus 3x plus 4. So this one, if I look at the x-intercepts, is at negative 4 and 1. And if I look here, negative 4 and 1. So this one looks like this works out. The other one, if I were to graph that one, it's plus 3x. And it's at negative 1 and 4, which is not what I want, that negative 1 and 4. So it is answer choice B. Which graph can be used to find the solution of the systems of equations? Okay, so again, I would solve for y. So the first one is 2x plus y equals negative 4. So all I really need to do is move this negative 2x over. Y equals negative 2x minus 4. The other one, I need to divide everything by negative 3. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. I'm left with 2, negative 3, negative 4. And I'm going to plug these in. Actually, you can plug them in, or if you look at the y-intercepts, this is where they both cross the y-axis, so they both have to have the same y-intercept, so that's going to be their solution. These don't even cross at -4. This doesn't even have -4 on the graph. And then this, only one of them line crosses at -4. So just by knowing that, I know the answer has to be A. But if it wasn't like that, you would plug them both into Desmos and see where they cross. Which statement is true? So I'm looking for the factored form of this. So I'm going to factor, or you can plug these in to Desmos and see which ones line up, right? So you could plug in your original x squared minus 2x plus 15. And then we can like plug in the other one, which is, this is answer choice A, x plus 3 and x minus 5. So notice if we look at the picture, they don't line up. The black and the red do not match. So answer choice A is out. So let's leave it there so I can. The other one is x plus 5 and x minus 3. Notice on this one, they do line up. I can't see it, so it looks like it's going to be B. I'm going to double check the other ones. X plus 5 plus 3. Way off. That one's out. And then x minus 3, x minus 5. And again, those are way off. So the only one that matched up was answer choice B. Or again, you can do the X puzzles. It's up to you. Which graph, or which statement is best supported by the graph? The x-intercept is located at -3, 0. Yes, there's my x-intercept. Coordinates to the y-intercept are 0, 9. Yes. Axis of symmetry is x equals -3. Yep. That's where it would divide straight down the middle. The graph has only one 0. Yes, because it only has one x-intercept. Remember, that's SOX. Solution 0 x-intercept, so 1, 2, 3, and 4 are correct. 35, the value of y is directly proportional to, cross it out and write divided by, y divided by x. That gives us k. Well, I have y is 35, and x is 140. So when I put that into Desmos, I've got 35 divided by 140 is 0.25-ish. Or not ish, it is 0.25. Remember, for directly proportional relationship, it's y equals kx. Well, I now know what k is. So instead of having k, I'm going to plug in y equals 0.25 for k. And it wants to know when x is 70. So I'm just going to plug in y equals 0.25 times 70, which is 17.5. So y equals 17.5. You could have also set up a proportion, like y over x, and you could have done 35 over 140. What is y when this is 70? And cross multiplied and all of that jazz. So you could have 140 y equals whatever that is, and divided. That would have also worked. Which graph represents a quadratic function that only has 1, 0? That means it crosses my x-axis once. So I'm looking for one that crosses here one time. Okay. This one never gonna cross. This one has 2 solutions. This one crosses one time. This one crosses once, but we're only getting a picture of the graph. If I zoom out, you're gonna see that it's gonna cross again over here. So that one's out. This one, if I were to keep zooming out, it would just keep going down. It's never gonna come back up and do it. So the correct answer is B. Which expression has a factor of, okay, so I need to do an X puzzle. I need more space. So 21 times negative 20. Negative 420. Whoa. And then I bring my B down, which is 13. So things that multiply to negative 420. I am going to need my calculator for this, y'all. Okay, I'm going to write these out somewhere. So I can have 1 and 420, 2 and 210, 3, 420 divided by 3. Does that work? And 140. What about 4? 4 and 105. 5 and 84. 6 and 70. No 8. No 9. 10 and 42. There. 11, no, 12 and 35. 13, no, 14 and 30. 15 and 28. Which I'm going to stop there because I think that's going to be our winner. $15 and 28, because if I do 28 minus 15, I get 13, which is what I wanted. So negative 15. Now I'm going to divide by my not 13, my A, 21. So these can be divided by 7. So I'm left with 4 over 3x, and this one can be divided by 3. Negative 5 over 7x. So and then when I change them into factors, 3x plus 4 times 7x minus 5. So I'm looking for either one of those. That's a no-go. This is a yes. That's a no-go. That's a no-go. So answer choice B. 38. Which equation has a line that passes through negative 2, 7 and has a slope of 0? So remember Hoyvux. 0 slope means it's going to be y equals a number. So just by knowing that, x's are out. If I look here, my y value is 7, so it should be y equals 7. Y'all, that's it. We finished. Hallelujah. Sorry I struggled on some of those, but hopefully y'all feel better. Please study. Please look over this. Hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I will see y'all Monday for the big day. Bye, y'all.